It is Wednesday, fresh out the shower. You already see, I done got all of those grays off of my face. Mustache is trimmed. You see the taper. I actually had to trim down my hair this week because it started getting out of control. And see these pearly whites. They're not as white as my ladies. I'm trying to catch up to her, but hell, they white as hell. But anyways, yes, we are doing this reflection walk on a Wednesday because I took my ass to work yesterday. So I didn't have time to take this one right here. You see her? You see her right there? See her? I've not taken her on her walk in a little over a week now. So we got to get to it. Stay tuned. Hey girl, you ready to go bye-bye? Are you ready to go bye-bye? You ready to get up out of here? You ready to get up out of here? Okay. Let me harness you up and we are taking off. All right. Hold on. Give me a second. Actually, come on. All right. We're not going in. We're not going inside. We're not going inside. Athena. Yeah. Okay. Calm down. And we are off. I know she is glad to get up out of this backyard, even though she's been spending a whole bunch of time inside the house due to my lady. But it is what it is. Look at my yard though, just cut it this morning. Freshly cut. That fertilizer be fertilizing, y'all. Oh yes. Looking nice. And one more thing. One thing that I love about being in Texas, and one thing that we must all do as homeowners, is we have to pay property taxes. And it sucks. But the thing that I enjoy about living in Texas is that we actually get to see where our property taxes go. For an example, you see these road closed signs. Let me see if I can get that one. You see that? Well, the reason why is because this street behind me, they just re-asphalted it. Yes, the street was so bad, I cracked one or two of my Mercedes two-piece wheels. That's why I'm riding on factories right now because of that. And due to the fact that our city manages the budget appropriately and allocates the budget appropriately, we have a nice brand new asphalt road right here. Yes. So even though it sucks paying property taxes, it's a good thing to know, at least down here where I live, that our property taxes are not being squandered. There's no fraudulent things going on. We can actually see where our tax dollars are going. But anyways, as my puppy is doing her thing, sniffing around, being a typical dog. Yes, being a typical dog. We got to get this reflection walk going, y'all. It's going to be an interesting one because, as you know, the verdict came out yesterday afternoon. Karmelo Anthony found guilty of murder and got sentenced to 35 years. And the interesting part about it is this. When the verdict came out, I was actually en route to taking my son to practice. And when these situations happen, it's a teachable moment, and it should be. Especially if you have sons, let alone if you have black sons, right? Like I do. You always want to make sure that your child does not make the same mistakes that other people's children made, and understand consequences and how every action has a reaction. So while I was on YouTube looking at Anton Daniels' reaction to the verdict, I talked to my son about it. I asked him if he even knew about it. And of course he was like, no. He was like, Karmelo Anthony, he's in trouble? I said, not the basketball player, dude. He's like, oh, no. So anyways, I started telling him about what happened, about how Karmelo Anthony, Austin Metcalf, the whole confrontation, how it went down at the track meet, how they had words. Karmelo was asked to leave the tent even though it was raining, and one of his homeboys from that school might have invited him under the tent, but regardless, he was asked to leave. Confrontation started, and Karmelo Anthony stabbed and killed Austin Metcalf. So when we started really reverse engineering the whole situation, because that's what we like to do at my household, is we get to the root in the seed of it all. Well, I asked my son, well, should Karmelo Anthony have brought a knife to a track meet? My son says no. And I said, why? He said, because they're not allowed there. They tell us that all the time at school, that you can't bring any type of weapons on the premises. I said, okay, cool. And I said, well, if somebody asks you to leave a tent that you don't even belong in, what would you do in that situation? He said, then I would leave, because why would I want to stay somewhere where nobody wants me there? I said, okay. I said, well, what if one of your homeboys invited you under that tent? He said, then I still would have left because I would have been uncomfortable, okay? So we're continuing on this conversation, and we get down to the common denominator. And I said, so now this kid has killed another kid, and now he has to go to jail for at least half of his sentence. What do you think should have been done? He said, well, he shouldn't have brought a knife to the track meet in the first place. And I said, smart kid, okay? And this is the thing, guys, because I'm looking at this from 2 points of view. One, you always got to look at the beginning of things. As a parent, you need to teach your child to be situationally aware, regardless of where they're at, what type of situation they might get put in or put themselves in. They got to be situationally aware. Now, you do not want to go anywhere where you're not invited, okay? Number one. And number two, you have to teach your kids about controlling their ego, because as men, we have egos. And I'm pretty sure egos got involved from both sides, right? Because the Metcalf twins, from what I've heard, they were some big ass boys, huge kids, right? So with that being said, as a parent, if you know you got some big ass kids, they're leaders, they might be stars at a specific sport that they are involved in, there is a responsibility that comes with that. Being a bully is not one of them, okay? And we know that we've all have encountered bullies before in our lives, and they could have been bullies. From what I have been seeing is, yes, the Metcalf boys were bullies. They were huge kids, right? But as their parents, their father, they should have already instilled in their sons, like, listen, you got blessed with this incredible size, and you cannot use it in a negative way. So that's fault on the dad, the mom, right? Because they shouldn't be bullies, okay? And then two, as far as the Karmelo situation, why did you feel the need to even bring a knife in the first place? Why? To protect yourself against what? Right? If you are there to either participate in the track meet or you just chilling, being a spectator, you shouldn't even be thinking about that unless you had intention on starting something. Maybe you had beef with one of the Metcalf twins or somebody else there. But even with that being said, see, I come from the era where if we know that we holding, then we understand what consequences could come about it. And we have to be willing to accept those consequences because we're taking those penitentiary chances, right? So all of the people that's over here outraged about what the verdict was, I already knew that he was going to go to jail. Now, 35 years. I didn't think he was going to go to jail for 35 years. Ugh, that's a lot. But at the same time, we have to understand when you bring a great neutralizer, like a weapon, in the element of a confrontation, something bad is bound to happen. That's why they say no weapons allowed at certain vicinities, guys. This is why. Because when there is tension and things start to escalate, as far as confrontation, weapons are going to be involved, right? Now, we have to look at it like this. What if Karmelo didn't bring a weapon? He only had 2 choices in that matter, right? He would have had to leave, or if you were going to be big and bad, right, let your ego get the best of you, you would have had to throw hands. Yes, you would have had to throw hands. So at the end of the day, I don't look at that whole situation as a self-defense thing. No, because Karmelo had plenty of time to just walk away. Plenty of time to walk away. None of this, murder case would have even have happened. Nothing. These kids would have been thriving, living their best life in rich ass Frisco. Okay, rich ass Frisco. So when people start talking about how, it was an unfair trial and how it was an all white jury, well, duh, it's Frisco. It's a predominantly white and Middle Eastern Indian city. So what, you expect a whole bunch of black people to be there? There's not a lot of black people in Frisco, y'all. It's not. So get that out of there. But you gotta reverse engineer everything and look at the seed of it, the root of the cause of why this whole case in this trial happened. He brought a knife to a track meet. He brought a knife to a track meet. I'm gonna say it again. He brought a knife to a track meet. If there was no knife, there would have been no case. And I think people cannot get over it. It is not a black and white thing, guys. It's a right and wrong thing. And this is why black people are getting a bad reputation, because we don't want to hold ourselves accountable for the actions that we do. We want to blame everybody else when no, nobody told Karmelo to bring a knife to a track meet. Nobody told him to do that shit. And the onus is on the parents, because let me tell you something. I tell my son this all the time. If you do something that is going to cause you to have to be in front of a judge, and it is not a self-defense thing or something that I know that you didn't do, and you purposely did it because you made one bad decision, or you didn't listen to all of the advice and the information that I have been giving you your entire life, son, you are on your own. Yes, because if you think that you are smarter than me, that you can make certain decisions without my influence, without my input, and you just doing shit because you are smelling yourself, you feeling yourself, then guess what? You can deal with your own problems by yourself. That's the type of guy that I am. And this is why it's very important as men, especially black men, right? But all men in general, that we make sure that we keep our sons close to us. See, the era of us leaving for an extended period of time and expecting our women to raise our child the way that they should be, that shit is dead. It is over with, because what tends to happen is when you are out of the house for an extended period of time, the society that we're living in ends up raising your child, whether it's music, social media, TV, they start raising your child. So you have to make sure that you put forth as much effort as possible to raise your child the right way. That way they don't end up in these type of situations like Karmelo Anthony is currently in. Real talk. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed my perspective of this whole Karmelo Anthony being found guilty, because it sucks for both sides, right? Because both parents lose their child. One is in the dirt and one is going to prison for a long period of time. Everybody loses. And remember, this is not a race thing. It really isn't. It's literally a right and wrong thing. 2 kids making one bad decision that now their family has to live with and deal with forever. And it sucks. So guys, stop this whole race shit, man. This whole black and white shit. We don't need it. There's bigger things that is going on right now that all of us have to deal with. So keep that in mind. Don't forget to like the video, sub to the channel, and I'm out. Peace.